Okay. Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be presenting my demonstration of the socket project. So I'm going to go ahead and run an example demonstration. Uh, Before we begin, this right here is the manager and everybody else are the peers. So let's go ahead and compile the manager. And manager is compiled. All right, so now we need to listen to different commands from the peers. So let's go ahead and get started with the peers. So over here, when I run the compilation of the peer program, it asks for name, port number, excuse me, import and import. So I do that as I compile all of the peers. Um, it sends register commands to the manager, which you can see on the left side right over here. And the manager sends down a success. If there is no name conflict, uh, there is no, you call it, there's no conflict within the ports. So I'm just setting up the rest of the peers. Let's call it Mike. And again, you'll be able to see on the left side that as I'm doing this, more register commands are being sent. Okay, so now everybody is registered. It's a rather time-consuming process, but it was just the safest way to do it. If I go over to the manager and print out his information, be able to see that each and every one of the peers are registered with the manager and each of their states are set to free. So now let's go ahead and let's set up the DHT. So I'm going to be working on John, um, this peer right over here. Let's go ahead and have him set up the DHT at size 5 and IPv 1996. Let's see. So, okay, everybody's doing their thing. And it is a big database, so it does take a while. But we do see over here that the manager received the command DHT complete from John, and then it issued out a success. So John receives that command, and then I have it in my program where it prints out that the DHT has been successfully completed. So let's go to the manager and let's have him print out all of his information. Uh, is it? There we go. So everybody is in the DHT except for one peer, that peer being Ben, and everybody else is in the DHT. As we can see, John is designated as a leader and everybody else has the state in DHT. So everything looks good. Let's go to Ben. Ben is going to be right over here. Let's go to his information and we find that Ben says that he's not in the DHT. So everything looks good. Now, just to see if everything worked, let's go ahead and have Ben query the DHT. Let's have him query event ID, this one. Okay, there we go. So, excuse me. Sometimes I don't know why, but whenever I record on Zoom, weird stuff starts to happen where nothing happens until I enter in some kind of input to the terminal window. I don't know if it's a port conflict, but it never happens when I'm never recording. But anyway, all of that worked. Ben received this query right over here, uh, and this storm data corresponding to the event ID. Um, so let's see, Ben sent a query for 5536849. It received the storm data 5536849 in response. The ID sequence went from him to peers 0, who's John, and then to 4, 2, and 3. 3 corresponding to the ID of the peer who had that data, which is Kyle. So everything looks good over there. So now let's go ahead and I believe next we are leaving the DHT. Yeah. Okay, so let's have somebody leave the DHT. I'm just going to choose this one over here. Before we do that, though, let's see their information. Okay, so this one is Kyle. Is he in the DHT? Yeah, he's in the DHT. Okay, so let's have Kyle leave the DHT. I'm going to issue that command right now. Okay, so all that good stuff happens. Do its thing. Okay, so the manager says that it received the command DHT rebuilt from Kyle, designating Amy as the new leader. So just to see if that worked, let's go to Kyle. Let's have him print out his information. We see that Kyle declares that he is not in the DHT, so everything looks good right there. If you go to the manager, let's have him print out his information. Okay, so everybody's in the DHT. It said earlier that Amy is the leader, and that looks right. Amy is indeed the leader. Everybody else's state is either sent to in DHT or free. The only free people are, or peers are Ben and Kyle. So Kyle right over here and Ben, we just worked on. So everything looks good. Let's go ahead and let's have Kyle query the DHT. Is to do. Okay, so now we have the storm data corresponding to that event ID being printed out. And it seems like it didn't have to go far. It only had to go to Peter's 0, who's John. So now that, or excuse me, who's Amy, rather, sorry. So now we've queried the DHT. Everything is looking right. Let's go ahead and exit. So the first process for exiting is tearing down the DHT, which can only be done by the leader. So this one over here, I believe, is Amy. Let's go ahead and confirm. Yep, this is Amy. And then before we go ahead and do that, I want to show another thing. So the ring geometry, according to Amy, is herself, John, Mike, and then Luke, and then back to herself. According to the manager, it is identical. It goes Amy, John, Mike, and Luke. So everyone is on the same page. Commands are being sent correctly. Finally, let's have her tear down the DHT. Initiate that command. Let's see. Okay, that happened real quick. Amy, so let's go over here. So Amy initiates the tear down DHT. She waits for success. She receives it from the manager. Initiates a teardown to John, who is her right neighbor. She receives the same command teardown from her left neighbor on port 1806. That corresponds to Luke. Yep, everything was good there. And then she initiates a teardown complete with her name, waits for a success message from the manager, which, as we can see on the manager side, the manager received and then sent back a success in return. And now the DHT is successfully torn down. So just to confirm that that works, let's go to the manager. Let's have him print out his DHT information. And just to show that everything's working correctly, it declares that there are no active DHTs, and it designates everybody who is registered with the manager as state free. So everything looks correct. Now we should be able to have everybody deregister and exit. So let's start with Amy. Okay, deregister Amy, sent back a success. Everything looks good there. Let's have, which one is it again? 6. Okay, let's have this one, deregister. Okay, deregistered. So this one deregister. This one deregister. Okay, so everybody should now be deregistered. Let's go to the manager. Let's have him print out his information. As you can see with the manager right over here, there are no active DHTs and there are also no peers who are registered with the manager. And everybody has also exited the program. So now let's go ahead and have the manager exit. Okay, we've done that. There are no errors from my operating system indicating a safe exit. So that was a demonstration of the socket project that we've been working on. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day.